The stars were silent, but the silence did not bring peace. Across the distant galaxy, countless alien fleets moved in careful formation, their metallic hulls shining cold light on the void. Captain Zorath of the Thrin Armada watched the blinking radar screens with unease, sensing something strange, something different, something human. For weeks the Armada had been chasing rumors of a new human fleet, whispered about in fear across every civilized sector. The humans were said to be weak, their fleet small, their weapons primitive, yet survivors of countless encounters spoke of an unimaginable power hidden beneath their modest exterior. Zorath had always dismissed these stories as myths, propaganda to scare the young officers until now. A signal blinked urgently on the nearest sensor array. "Captain," reported Lieutenant Vex, his voice trembling slightly. "We are detecting a single massive signature, approaching fast from the Orion Rift." Zorath leaned forward, his multifaceted eyes scanning the holographic readouts. "Size, armament?" he demanded, though deep inside he already felt the answer. "Impossible, sir," Vex whispered. "It does not match any known human vessel. It is enormous." The fleet shifted uneasily, thousands of alien ships in perfect formation trembling like leaves in a cosmic storm. Zorath's mind raced, the legends of human ingenuity and unyielding courage flashing in his memory, tales that always seemed exaggerated, now terrifyingly real. Then they saw it, emerging from the rift, its massive silhouette cutting through the stars, a warship unlike anything the Armada had imagined. It moved slowly but with deliberate purpose, each engine pulse a promise of destruction. The aliens' weapon systems hummed. Laser arrays powered, missile bays unlocked. Yet no one dared fire first. It was as if the ship carried an aura of inevitability, a silent message that resistance was foolish. Across the Armada, panic spread like a wildfire. Fleet commanders barked orders, but confusion reigned. No formation could match the sheer presence of this human warship. Zorath could hear the whispers through the comm lines, voices filled with disbelief and fear. How can a single ship do this? The human warship did not fire. It did not scream across the void. Yet every alien vessel felt the pressure. Shields flickered under some unseen force. Communications failed, sensors went haywire, and a sense of dread filled every bridge. Zorath gripped the control rail, realizing too late that these humans were unlike any enemy he had known. They were not just fighters, they were an idea, a force that could bend the galaxy to their will without even lifting a weapon. "Prepare for engagement," Zorath ordered. Though his voice lacked conviction, every officer hesitated, knowing in their hearts that this battle was not about firepower, but survival against something beyond comprehension. The human warship glided closer, calm, precise, and unstoppable, and horror spread like ice across the alien Armada. And in that moment, Zorath understood the terrifying truth. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Now it would pay the price. The stars were silent. But the silence did not bring peace. Across the distant galaxy, thousands of alien ships moved in perfect formation, their metallic hulls glinting cold light in the darkness. Captain Zorath of the Thrin Armada stood on the bridge of his flagship, his multifaceted eyes scanning the endless void, a strange unease settling deep in his chest. For weeks, the Armada had been chasing rumors of a new human fleet, whispered about in fear across every civilized sector. The humans were small, their fleets weak, and their weapons crude compared to the massive warships of the Thrin. Yet every story hinted at something terrifying hidden beneath their simple exterior. Zorath had always dismissed these tales as exaggerations, legends created to scare young officers. Until now, a sudden blip appeared on the radar, blinking urgently in red. "Captain," Lieutenant Vex said, his voice tight with nervousness. "We are detecting a single massive signature coming from the Orion Rift." Zorath leaned forward, scanning the holographic readout. "Size, weapons," he demanded, though a cold thought ran through his mind. "It is unlike anything we have ever seen, sir," Vex whispered. "It is huge, far larger than any human ship known to exist." The alien fleet shifted nervously, thousands of ships trembling like tiny stones in a river of darkness. Zorath felt a shiver run down his spine as old stories of human bravery and ingenuity flashed in his mind, tales that had once seemed exaggerated, now terrifyingly real. And then they saw it, emerging from the rift, a shadow in the stars. A massive human warship gliding with quiet power, every detail precise and deliberate. It was unlike anything Zorath had ever imagined, a vessel of vast size, sleek curves, and sharp edges that seemed almost alive in its grace. The ship moved slowly, but with absolute confidence, each engine pulse a silent threat. Alien weapons arrays hummed, missile bays opened, and energy cannons aligned, yet no one dared fire first. It was as if the ship carried a force beyond mere metal and energy, a presence that made every alien commander hesitate. Panic spread through the fleet like a storm. Voices trembled over communication channels. Orders were shouted and repeated, but confusion reigned. "How can a single ship cause such fear?" muttered one officer. "How is it possible that humans so small and weak can stand against thousands of our ships?" whispered another. The human warship did not fire. It did not even accelerate. Yet its presence alone caused shields to flicker, communications to fail, and sensors to malfunction. Every officer aboard the Thrin vessels felt an unspoken dread creeping into their minds. A cold fear that made their hands shake on the controls. Zorath gripped the command rail, realizing too late that this was not a fight about weapons or numbers. This was a test of courage against a force that could not be measured or predicted. The humans moved with calm, deliberate precision, their ship cutting silently through the void. The Thrin fleet tried to form battle lines, but every attempt faltered, their formations collapsing under the pressure of mere observation. Zorath's mind raced, trying to comprehend the impossible. The legends of human resilience, ingenuity, and courage flashing before his eyes. Could it be true? Could one human ship truly change the course of a battle without firing a single shot? On the bridge, alarms sounded and lights flickered. Yet the human warship remained untroubled. Gliding closer with silent authority, fear had taken hold of the armada, replacing strategy with panic, confidence with doubt. Zorath knew that history would remember this moment, not for the tactics of the aliens, but for the arrival of a species underestimated for centuries. The humans were not just warriors, he realized. They were a force of nature, capable of bending the galaxy to their will without showing their full power. "Prepare for engagement," Zorath ordered. Though his voice sounded hollow even to his own ears, every officer hesitated, knowing deep down that this battle was unlike any other. The human warship drew closer, calm, precise, unstoppable, and the armada trembled before it. Horror spread like ice across every vessel, across every mind as the realization sank in. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long. Now it would pay the price. The alien fleet tried to regroup, their ships trembling as the massive human warship glided closer. Captain Zorath's mind raced, searching for any weakness, any flaw, anything to exploit. But the human ship remained calm, almost serene in its movement, a dark shadow among the stars. Lieutenant Vex tapped on the holographic control panel, his hands shaking. "Captain, it is changing course, but slowly, deliberately, like it knows exactly what we will do next," he said. Zorath swallowed hard, a cold feeling creeping over him. "Show me the readings again," he demanded. Though he already feared the answer, the screens flickered, showing the alien sensors failing, energy shields weakening, communication lines breaking in unpredictable patterns. Every system in the armada shuddered as though the human ship were alive, a predator playing with its prey. Zorath clenched his claws on the rail, realizing that these humans did not fight like other species. They were not just strong or fast, they were clever, unpredictable, and terrifyingly precise. Across the armada, panic deepened, ships trying to form battle formations but failing under some unseen pressure. The aliens whispered fearfully over comm channels, "We cannot predict it. It knows our moves before we make them." Zorath's second-in-command Trell turned to him, eyes wide. "Captain, what do we do? No weapon is effective, no formation holds." Zorath shook his head slowly, a grim realization settling in. "We are facing something we do not understand, something beyond our tactics." Then, without warning, the human ship released small pods into space, each one glowing faintly with strange energy. The pods moved quickly, spreading through the armada, and suddenly alien sensors went dark. Their weapons freezing mid-charge. Vex gasped. It's disabling us without firing a shot. Zorath's eyes narrowed. Humans. They do not need to destroy immediately. They control the battlefield in ways we cannot comprehend. The alien fleet tried to respond, launching missiles, charging energy beams, firing everything they had. But the human ship moved with such precision that no attack could land. The weapons either deflecting harmlessly or becoming useless. The pods floated in perfect formation around the aliens, a net of disruption that rendered thousands of ships powerless. Zorath felt his mind twist with disbelief. This cannot be happening. One ship, one human ship, controlling thousands of us across the fleet. Crews panicked, many abandoning stations, others trying desperately to repair failing systems. The human ship continued to advance, slow, calm, unstoppable, each movement calculated to terrorize and confuse. Zorath realized something chilling. It is not just a battle of firepower. It is a battle of will, and humans have more will than we can imagine. Every alien commander felt it, a cold fear gripping their hearts, replacing logic with panic. Then the human ship fired its first attack, and it was unlike anything Zorath had ever seen. Not a blast of lasers or missiles, but a wave of energy that spread silently through the armada, disabling engines, weapons, and shields instantly. Ships drifted helplessly in space, some spinning out of control, others frozen in place. The effect was terrifying in its simplicity, yet devastating in its power. Retreat! Retreat! Shouted one officer, but orders no longer mattered. Every attempt to regroup failed. As if the human ship anticipated their every move, Zorath felt a cold realization. Humans did not just fight, they dominated the battlefield without even trying. And horror spread across the armada like a shadow, dark and heavy, suffocating and absolute. The human warship continued forward, unstoppable, perfect, a symbol of what Zorath now understood, that the galaxy had made a mistake in underestimating humans, one ship, one crew, and they could bring terror to fleets larger than entire star systems. Zorath gripped the command rail, his mind racing with fear, admiration, and disbelief. He knew the fight had only begun. The humans had revealed their strategy, their power, and their control over the battlefield. And Zorath realized a terrifying truth. The galaxy was no longer safe from humanity. The armada trembled, the stars seemed darker, and the first human strike had only just begun. Captain Zorath watched helplessly as his fleet drifted, many ships disabled, engines failing, shields flickering. He had never felt such fear in his long career, a fear that went beyond death or defeat. It was something primal, a sense that the humans were not just fighting, they were rewriting the rules of war. Lieutenant Vex pointed at the screen. Captain, they are moving again, but slowly, deliberately, as if they are studying us. Zorath's claws tightened around the command rail. What do they want? Are they even attacking or just testing us? The alien fleet trembled in the void, trying desperately to form a new formation. But every move seemed predicted, every strategy anticipated. Then, from the shadows of space, a few alien ships tried to escape, accelerating toward the outer rim. But the human warship adjusted its course effortlessly, cutting off every path. Energy pulses flowed like invisible chains through space, slowing the fleeing ships, disabling engines, leaving them helpless. It was not just power, it was precision control, and intelligence beyond anything Zorath had ever encountered. Captain, Trell whispered, they are not just strong. They are smart, faster in thought than we are in action. Zorath nodded grimly. Humans do not fight like us, Trell. They fight like an idea that cannot be stopped. He realized then that no alien fleet, no matter its size, could match the humans in strategy and efficiency. The warship did not even need to fire traditional weapons. It controlled the battlefield with thought, calculation, and perfect timing. The Thrin Armada tried a coordinated counterattack, small squads moving together, weapons charged, hoping to strike the human ship from multiple angles, but the humans anticipated every move, their ship gliding effortlessly between attack paths, avoiding collisions and disabling enemy weapons. One by one, alien ships lost power. Weapons went offline, communication arrays failed, and fear spread across the fleet like a living shadow. Zorath's mind raced. We are fighting ghosts, not humans. They are untouchable, invisible, and unstoppable. Desperation took hold, and the Armada tried something reckless, firing their heaviest weapons simultaneously. Lasers, plasma beams, and missiles lit up the void in a bright storm. But the human warship remained untouched, shields flickering but unbroken, energy fields bending attacks harmlessly aside. It was as if the ship had thought ahead, calculated the exact force of each strike, and neutralized it before impact. Across the bridges of alien ships, panic turned to terror, officers screaming, crews abandoning stations. Zorath's voice shook as he barked orders. "Hold position! Concentrate fire! Do not let them break our lines!" But it was too late. The humans had already broken their formations. The aliens now scattered like leaves in the wind. Fear was everywhere, and hope was fading with every passing moment. Then the human warship made its next move. It launched hundreds of small drones, glowing softly as they spread through the Armada like a swarm of predators, each drone attached to a ship, siphoning energy, shutting down engines, disabling weapons. The aliens had never seen technology like this, something that worked without explosions, without noise, yet destroyed their ability to fight. Lieutenant Vex gasped, It is taking our ships without destroying them, controlling them." Zorath stared at the screen, horror filling him. Humans, they do not just destroy, they dominate. He realized that fighting them head-on was useless, that every strategy they had was already countered. The humans were not just fighters, they were masters of the battlefield. And no alien species had ever faced anything like them. Some ships tried to retreat, hoping to regroup far from the warship. But the human drones intercepted them, shutting down engines, leaving ships drifting, frozen in space. Zorath's mind reeled. One ship, one crew, controlling thousands of us. How is this possible? Fear turned to awe and then to despair, as every alien commander understood that victory was no longer possible. The human warship glided closer to the heart of the Armada, calm, precise, unstoppable. Its movement was like a predator circling prey, each action deliberate, calculated, perfect, and Zorath knew that this was only the beginning, that the humans were showing them their power not to kill immediately, but to dominate, to terrorize, to make them understand the true meaning of fear. The alien fleet had never known such helplessness, never felt the cold hand of inevitability, and in that moment Zorath understood a terrifying truth. Humans were not just another species to fight. They were an unstoppable force, an idea that could reshape the galaxy. And the first glimpse of true human power had only just begun. The alien fleet was in chaos, drifting, disabled and terrified. Captain Zorath watched in disbelief as his once mighty armada seemed helpless against a single human warship. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, the shame of underestimating a species that now controlled the battlefield with terrifying precision. Lieutenant Vex reported frantically, "Captain, the humans are coordinating their attack with drones and energy fields. Our weapons are useless, our formations failing." Zorath gritted his teeth. "Then we fight differently, we adapt. We must find a way." But even as he said it, he knew the odds were impossible. The humans were not just strong, they were faster, smarter, and more prepared than any enemy he had ever faced. The human warship glided closer, its engines glowing faintly, perfectly balanced in the void. The swarm of drones moved like living shadows, intercepting every attack, disabling weapons and engines, leaving alien ships helpless. The Armada tried one final coordinated strike, firing all remaining missiles and energy beams at once. But the human ship adjusted effortlessly, its shields bending the attacks away like water flowing around a stone. Zorath's voice shook as he barked orders. "Focus fire on the center. Target the engines! Do not let them advance." The alien crews worked frantically, but the humans had already anticipated every move. Ships that tried to close in were met with sudden energy pulses, throwing them off course. Those that tried to flee found their paths blocked by invisible forces, slowing them down, disabling engines, leaving them drifting like broken toys in space. Vex's claws trembled as he stared at the readouts. It's like they know exactly what we will do before we even think it." Zorath swallowed hard, a cold fear running through him. They do not just fight. They dominate, control everything. The realization struck him like lightning. Humans were not just soldiers, they were masters of war in ways no one could understand. They were not just using weapons, they were controlling the battlefield itself, bending space, energy, and strategy to their will. Then the human ship launched a new wave of drones. Faster, smarter, more precise, they moved through the armada like shadows, attaching to alien ships, siphoning energy, shutting down weapons, disabling shields. Every attack from the aliens failed. Every strategy was countered, and despair spread across the fleet like a living darkness. Zorath's mind raced, searching for any advantage, any plan that could save even a few ships. Some alien commanders tried desperate maneuvers, splitting their forces, attacking from unexpected angles. But the humans anticipated every tactic, neutralizing threats before they could strike, one by one. The alien ships fell under the control of the human warship and its drones. Engines dead, weapons offline, crews panicked. The armada was collapsing, not from destruction, but from the terrifying efficiency and intelligence of a single human vessel. Zorath realized then the terrible truth. Humans were not just fighters, they were an unstoppable force. One ship could take on thousands and win without firing a single destructive shot. The human warship did not need to destroy to dominate. It could control, disable, terrify, and break entire fleets. The alien commanders understood in cold horror that the galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. The human ship glided to the center of the armada, calm, precise, and perfect. Its presence alone caused fear. Its drones disabled every ship it touched. Its energy pulses left crews paralyzed with terror. Zorath knew the fight was lost. Yet he refused to surrender. He could not. For the honor of his people, for the survival of his fleet, he had to try something. He ordered a desperate final strike, sending the few functional ships directly toward the human vessel. Lasers, missiles, energy beams all converged in a chaotic storm. The human ship did not move hurriedly, it simply adjusted, its shields bending and deflecting every attack. The drones moved faster, intercepting weapons, shutting down engines, controlling the battlefield with terrifying perfection. One by one, the alien ships faltered, drifting helplessly, unable to fire, unable to move, unable to resist. Zorath felt the hopelessness closing in, the shame, the fear, the recognition that the humans had not even broken a sweat. And yet, even as the armada fell, there was a strange beauty to their defeat. The humans had shown a level of skill, strategy, and control that was almost beyond belief. The armada would never forget this day. The day when one human ship brought fear and chaos to thousands of alien vessels. Captain Zorath stared at the human warship, a mixture of awe and terror in his eyes. It was not just a ship, it was a symbol, a warning, a force that the galaxy had ignored for too long. And in that moment, Zorath realized that humanity had arrived, and the age of alien dominance was ending. The human warship moved silently, leaving a trail of controlled chaos in its wake. And the Thryn armada, once proud and mighty, drifted in helpless despair, defeated without a single battle truly fought. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had only begun to show its power. The alien fleet lay in ruins, many ships drifting, engines dead, weapons offline. Captain Zorath watched from his command bridge, his mind reeling with disbelief, fear, and awe. Never had he imagined that one human ship could bring an entire armada to its knees. And yet here they were, helpless, controlled, terrified. Lieutenant Vex whispered, "Captain, they are moving again, but slowly, carefully, almost deliberate." Zorath nodded grimly. "It is over, Vex, but we must understand. We must survive to tell what we have seen." The human warship had not destroyed everything. It had shown control, precision, and power. It had proven that humans did not need to annihilate to dominate. From the darkness of space, the ship's drones moved outward, attaching to the remaining alien vessels, engines powered down, weapons disabled, shields neutralized, no explosion, no fire, only silent. Unstoppable control. Zorath realized then the terrible truth. Humans were not just soldiers, they were masters of the battlefield. They could shape the outcome of any fight before it even began. The Thryn commanders tried to resist, sending desperate signals, activating hidden systems. But the human ship responded faster than thought, neutralizing every attempt. It was a perfect dance of power, control, and intelligence. One human crew, one warship, and yet they had conquered thousands. Zorath finally understood this was not just a battle. It was a message to the galaxy, a warning that humans were no longer to be underestimated. Across the armada, fear turned into awe and awe turned into despair. Every officer realized that the humans had rewritten the rules of war. The human warship moved closer to the flagship. Silent, unstoppable, its presence alone demanded submission. Zorath could feel the weight of the moment, the pride and terror of facing a species that had grown beyond expectation. He swallowed hard, knowing that survival meant surrendering control. At least for now. Lieutenant Vex tapped the console nervously. "Captain, they are waiting, watching like they want us to understand." Zorath nodded slowly. "Yes, they are teaching us, showing us our limits, showing us our place in this galaxy." The human ship did not fire, did not attack. It simply stood as a symbol of supremacy. And the Thrin armada, once proud, drifted in silence, broken and defeated. The remaining ships began to power down, accepting control where resistance had failed. The humans had proven their power without unnecessary violence. It was a strategy of intelligence, precision, and calculated terror. The galaxy would remember this day, the day when one human ship defeated thousands, and the galaxy would remember the lesson. Humans were not to be challenged lightly. Zorath looked out into the stars, the human warship glowing faintly against the void. He could feel its presence everywhere, a shadow over the armada, a force impossible to resist. Humans had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. Every alien commander understood that they had underestimated humans, and underestimation was a mistake they would never repeat. The human warship moved slowly, silently, gliding away from the crippled armada. Its mission complete, its dominance shown, its presence forever etched in the minds of those who witnessed it. Zorath's fleet drifted in silence, powerless, humbled and afraid. He knew the galaxy had changed, and the humans would shape its future. As the stars stretched endlessly ahead, the human warship disappeared into the darkness, but its message remained, clear, simple, and terrifying. The galaxy had met humanity, and humanity had proven supremacy. Captain Zorath realized, with a mixture of fear and awe, that the age of human power had begun, and the universe would never be the same again.